if we kind of zoom in on this, and whoops, I want to go up. I don't want to grab any of that. Is you are using and finding values by either putting paint down to make things darker, or you're pulling paint away to make things lighter. Okay. This is a project where if you have a kneaded eraser around and you can kind of steal a little piece from that, that is ideal. I know I have some somewhere, but I don't have it at the moment. So I may run and grab that in a second. So this is kind of an underpainting technique. It's used to set up your values to kind of create a similar atmosphere to really quickly kind of make a painted drawing. And then once you have that, you can kind of add color and build up on top of that. So all you're going to use is, it says dark burnt umber or raw umber is ideal for your paint color. So the dark brown. If you have burnt sienna, it's going to look a little bit different. I will accept that, but I want some kind of a brown. This is the dark earth colors are some of the cheapest colors you can. They're the least expensive out of all the different groups. So should be easy enough to get a hold of. So the wipeout method, first stage is to draw into the wet paint. So if you look at this portrait in the middle, the whole painting may have even started with this dark black. I doubt it on this one. This is more of what I would call a selective wipeout versus the demonstration over here on the side. That is 100% a wipeout. So you start by toning your canvas with a very, very dark color, burnt umber, and it's all going to be dark. Then you're going to flip your brush around and use the back end to scratch into that dark ground and make your first drawing. This process is called sgraffito, and the beauty of it is as soon as you make a mistake, you just flip your brush around, smudge it, and it disappears immediately. So you can redraw and correct what you have very quickly. Mostly all you're looking for in this sgraffito stage is just to go through and show me the sizes and the placement of where your objects are. So where is this gorilla skull versus this bottle? Where is this number 3 versus that? So you're just showing placement, because the next step is to wipe the light areas away. So you're going to grab your rag, and this is the messy part of this process, and you're going to wipe away the light areas. And by doing that, you're pulling paint off of the canvas and it's lightening it up. And there's probably no such thing as over wiping. I mean, there probably is if you really like scrubbed for a long time, but if you're just kind of using the rag, it's going to lighten up quick. And if you had to lean on the side of lighter or darker, probably lighter is better. Once you've done that, you can use your brushes and a kneaded eraser to keep pulling away paint. I don't think you have to necessarily draw in this stage. It's going to be very kind of loose, and you will have lost your drawing, and it's okay, because you know more or less where the sizes are, more or less what it looks like, more or less where things are. And then you turn around and start drawing with your brush into that new wiped away surface. So if you need to draw something, you use your brown, you add some paint. If it's too much, then you use your rag and you wipe it away. And you just start to go back and forth, pulling away where you go too far, adding a little bit more where you need some more value and some different shapes. This is something that you need to, when you start this process, make sure you have a window to paint in. You should not do this if you only have 30 minutes. It's probably not quite enough time. Make sure that you have at least an hour, hour and a half to do this so that you can, because once you leave it, it's going to dry on you. This paint is the fastest drying. If you're using Neomag or some kind of medium, that's going to help it dry even faster. So it's going to go really, really quickly. So you want to make sure that you have some time. So you can adjust the shapes and all that before it dries overnight. We'll talk about whether we're going to do a little bit of white afterwards, but you should not ever mix. Let me say that really clearly one more time. Do not ever mix white with your burnt umber. We are not mixing those two colors together. You can paint with brown on the first day only. And maybe on the second day, you can paint with white, but you will not be mixing it with brown. It's just white. So don't even worry about that. Some people don't ever use the white. I often will not use the white. So these bottom ones have some white in it. And maybe the portrait has just a few little teeny spots. But these top ones, they don't have white. If there's something that looks brighter, it's because the paint has been pulled away. So you can pull away the paint quite a bit to get it started. And that's all you want to do on the first day. And so what we're going to do is just do the first day painting and then be done. Okay, that's all you have to do. Then you can kind of come back to it and decide whether you want to add a little bit more on a second day. A second day over here, this one on the left, I'm glazing and adding more brown on here to make that more reflective. I'm adding a few little areas of white to get some highlights, but that is it. Everything else is not being touched, okay? So that is the process. Sample still life images. So same group or set as we had from the first one, but I have added a new set, this bottom set, and there's one at the very top. I decided I wanted to buy a cast over break and over the summer, so I did. I feel like at school we have lots and lots of male models and male faces, and I wanted to have something different. I have like a Madonna, but it's kind of very stylized. This is much more naturalistic. So I'm going to use something. Let's see which one. Mine's going to look like one of these. I have the same object set up. I think it's going to be woman with apple. This is essentially what I'm trying to set up right here. Okay. Maybe I'll turn my head just a little bit away from the light. See if I can match that look a little bit more. There we go. Not bad. So you can crop it. You don't have to use all of every object. I do not recommend that you ever paint. See if there's a photograph that you're using of mine and the box ends and there's nothing there, don't paint that. That's not worth your time. Just pretend like this, whatever surface it is, it extends all the way out. So if this is a yellow base here, pretend that it extends all the way to the corners. Pretend that this extends all the way to the top. You might only end up with maybe this is the box that you're going to end up painting, and you're going to crop off the top of the head. That's fine. Maybe you're going to zoom in a little bit more and you're going horizontal and you do something like that. So then this time, that's what you end up seeing, and you know, you like that horizontal format. It's up to you how you choose to crop either the still life that you have or the still life that you're going to borrow from this folder. So other than that, there's a bunch of other ones. These ones have some color, but it's very limited color. You can tell they're still more about value. So that should be easy enough to use. This one's borrowed from an artist set. I do have some more that I might add in later. Some of these are from drawings. These ones here, I basically went into Chip and Joanna's section of Target and just started setting up still lifes and taking pictures. So that's where some of those come from. This is the one that I use for the first project. And so if you use your own, but you want to use this one for the second project, you're welcome to use that. Some of these are from class. Some of these I took at home. Some are more complicated. Some are a little bit easier to use. So you decide what your level of comfort is and what you want to try to do. Whether you want to borrow from these. I think when in doubt, you might want to stick with something that's a little bit easier rather than something that's a little bit more difficult. So with that said, we are, there is a video demonstration from the other year. This is what we're going to start doing. So the first thing you're going to do is tone up your canvas. I was tempted to do this beforehand, but I didn't. So we'll be doing this. Here I'm scratching in my drawing. Here I'm wiping out the lights. This can get pretty messy. It's probably best if you have like a small pile of rags, like 3 or 4 when you get started. I have this is a eraser pen, so I'm using that to draw with. And I'm kind of drawing by erasing away the color, and when that eraser gets clogged up with a lot of paint, I'm just wiping it on my rag. So this is kind of somewhere near the start or the beginning, and let's close that one. We go to part 2, and here I am starting to draw into that wipeout painting. And notice that I a lot of what I had before I lost when I wiped out. There is an abstract moment there where you're going to do that. For some of you, you do not want to do this, but I'm going to recommend that you do it anyway. Challenge yourself to do something outside of your comfort zone. This may seem really difficult or something that you don't like. This is the only time I'll make you do this style, this approach. So allow yourself to step outside and do that, because some of the results that you can get can be very great. So as we kind of keep building up, you can always keep wiping away with your rag if you need to. You can keep adding paint with your brush or with a palette knife even. Here I am erasing. I dipped the corner of my rag into my medium so I could pull some extra paint away. If the paint is not coming off, sometimes a little medium, or if you dare, some Gamsol or terps. You could use odorless mineral spirits. I try not to use those. So one of the things that happens in this, if you look at the skull here, it wasn't bright enough, so I had a drawing, but I just went and wiped it away anyway and pulled more out. And then I just go back and start drawing back into those with my brush. I'm just redrawing. The more times I'm redrawing, maybe the more accurate I'm getting. So don't be afraid to keep pushing yourself to get it right. So we're kind of jumping ahead again. Now you can see I'm starting to get some of those darker values. Some of the paint is starting to dry now, so I can add more paint to it and it stays darker. So see how close we get to the end. I don't think that I ever added any white at all to this last year. I think I just painted it out to the end, unstopped. That was it. There it is. So that's essentially what it looks like. Again, any writing, I'm trying to copy the steps or copy the shapes, not trying to write in my own handwriting. So last time I noticed that I used the pig in the first painting. I used it the first painting this year. I am using this old Utica Club can in this painting, and it's in the same spot. So I have a lot of tendencies to use the same things and paint the same things. I mean, a lot of that is because it's what I have here, but it's common for me to do that. So close this up. I'm gonna just quickly run over here and see if I have an eraser, because I want to have an eraser around. Well, I don't see it, but I did find the eraser pen. So I'll stick with that. I thought my kids had an eraser somewhere over here. A kneaded eraser is probably one of the best tools you can have for this, so I will recommend that for you.